Hello there, pirates. Welcome to the second part of building subs to fight Reavers in the upcoming raid cycle. If you didn't watch part one, we discussed a few things. I'm just going to quickly recap here. But the first part focused on the simpler subs with 3 special slots, like the Barracuda, the Spectre, and so on. This one today will focus on Banshees, Tiger Sharks, and Hellwraiths. Okay? This is just a recap. I already mentioned everything here in the previous video. So damage types, concussive, explosive, plasma. The Reavers are fast, there are drones, you need subs. And remember, whatever you build now and works for you in the next 4 months will also be used in 2017 to get uranium. So build the fleets now, even if it takes you a couple of months. And it's worth, if you can get to the Hellwraith, which is the top sub right now, it's worth building it. If not, at least Tiger Sharks. Now, before we start talking about the builds, just a few things to keep in mind. If you're gonna build 5 subs, like as in if you have plans to get the Phantom Hellwraith or the Phantom Tiger Shark, for now, just make sure each one of your 4 subs, none of them go over 7.6 thousand tons. So you have some room there for your Phantom and to be identical to the other 4 subs if that's what you want to do. Thinking about driving style, there's a lot of trade-offs, none of them too big, but sometimes you can give up a little bit of explosive resistance for concussive resistance. You can give up some turn for some combat speed. You can give some damage away in exchange for more armor. So think about it. It depends on style. What I think is just that so far the Reavers, they don't have a lot of health. So you don't really need all the damage output. It's better if you have good resistance, good defense, and good speed as much as you can. Even if the price you pay is a little bit of damage. When looking at my builds now, most of my specials that could be retrofitted were. So they're like R10, R15, most of them. And my build repair times have been reduced by officer and R&D up to level 30. Okay, so yours might not match, but shouldn't be too far off. And you can always retrofit your specials as well. Let's start by talking about Banshees. To be very upfront, I don't recommend anyone build Banshees for this raid cycle. I'm only going to talk about them here in case you have them and you want to retrofit them because they are the best subs you have. So if you're going to do a bit of a retrofit until you get the Hellwraith or the Tiger Shark, go for it. But look at the build times. It's like 11 days each. And they have not been put in the foundry. They haven't been given any base explosive defense or concussive defense. They're slow, and Reavers are fast, so that's a problem. So I think I would still, if I were to build from scratch and I didn't have the Hellwraith, I think I would rather build like Tiger Sharks than Banshees, or even Nighthawks over Banshees. But if you have them, here's what you can do. On the left, you have the Mimical system, the new special hydraulic resistor. In this case, the hydraulic resistor helps a lot because it adds 15% concussive, and the Banshee has nothing. So, you got 15 from here, you got 15 from this single D5 CT, right? And bam, you have 30%. Now, when the Banshee is submerged, you also get extra 30%. So that's 30% on the 70% left. That's going to bring you to 51% total concussive defense when you're submerged, right? On the left build. On the right hand build, there's no concussive defense at all. All you're going to get is the 30% you get when you're submerged. So if you're going to go with the right hand build, I recommend you use Steelhead's crew. It gives you additional 15%, makes a big difference in this case. Also, the left side build has a decent combat speed, 22 when surfaced, You add 20%, so it goes to about 26 when underwater, but it turns really well, right? On the other hand, the build on the right has much better combat speed. It actually gets to 30 underwater, 25 surfaced, but it's going to be really, really painfully slow turning. So for this one, you might want to every time use Sea Serpents for the turning bonus, right? So yeah, these are two options. I really don't recommend any of them unless, again, it's a quick retrofit for you. Okay. The last point, adding the Fire Twister torpedoes will help you against the drones, because if all you have are Charons or Styx torpedoes, you're going to have to kill one drone at a time, and that's going to take forever. Since you can't put scatterguns in here, you put a few fire torpedoes, the splash will help you a bit. Maybe you should even put more than 2, but 2 per sub if you have 3-4 subs should get the job done. The damage output on the left hand build is lower, 15k versus 19k damage. But again, I like the left side better just because it turns better and it has better resistance overall. Okay, and again, the Reavers die really fast. I believe even like with one sub like this, you could be doing B tier. Okay, but you're gonna take damage again because it's low on defenses. Okay. Tiger Sharks. This is where it gets interesting. So as you can see already, my favorite build is the build on the right hand side. But let's look at them both. Again, driving styles, right? If you look at the right hand side, you have better cloak efficiency. You give up a little bit of cloak time because you're using the Mimicry system versus stealth attack system level 4. Okay, and both of them I'm using all D3S armor. You could try and fit a little bit of D5 CT to get deflection, but you know what? 20 or 40 deflection I don't think will make a huge difference unless you get spotted and that concussive cannon. Then the deflection makes a difference, but if it's only against the explosive death damage when you kill an enemy, 40 deflection or 20 won't make a difference. So let's go all D3S here, and I'm going 3 because it's enough armor, right? This build here repairs in 2 hours 40 minutes per sub. It's a long repair, 1 hour and 20 in raid time. So if you have 3-4 of those, you're already going to be talking about 8 to 10 coins from death, from dead fleet to fully repaired. Let's take a look. I like the evade on the Tiger Sharks, like 38-41%. That's very good evade against the cannons if you get spotted, or the torpedoes. Explosive defense is as high as it gets. I mean, both of them are 91%. And when you submerge, you get an additional 40%. But it's 40% of the 9% left. So, you know what? You get to 95% resistance, which is great. Concussive, both of them. This one's 65, this one's 75. I think the key difference here only is the hydraulic resistor again. So I don't even know if it's worth it, like for 5% using a limited special on this ship, but it's your call, right? Damage output. The version on the right, my favorite, has more damage output than the version on the left, but it's lower, both on turn speed and combat speed, right? So this one 24 plus 20% bonus when submerged, so you're going to be talking about close to 30 combat speed and 49 turn. To compensate for this one, you might want to use Silent Hunters. This one already has, because you have Ion Thrusters and Magnus Drive 2 fully retrofitted, you get 27 combat speed. Underwater, you add 5.4, so you're going to be nearly at 33 combat. That's really fast for this sub. One thing you'll notice, I'm not using any Fire Twister torpedoes on this build because I'm using Cobra Scatterguns. If you have it, it's actually the best weapon against the drones. I mean, if you go against them and they haven't spotted you yet, they're just circling around, 4 of these you can kill a whole bunch of them in one shot, real fast, much faster than even using fire twister torpedoes. So that's my recommended for tiger sharks, since they allow you to use Cobra scatter guns. If you have them, use them. The rest is pretty standard here. Yeah, no difference. Let's move on. Before we move on to Hellwraiths, I just wanted to show you my tiger sharks. You see they're not like the build I recommended, just because I already had them. And I did as quick a retrofit as I could, a refit as I could for this event. So they're kind of something between what they were before and what I would like them to be, just so I could quickly move on and start building Hellwraiths. So this is what they are right now. You see 2d5 CT armor in there. Gives me some deflection. You see specials from before the Mimico system, so it's Caterpillar Drive, it's Stealth Attack 4, regular speed 5 instead of hydraulic resistors. Just because I didn't want to go through all the motions, so I still have some B-Torps for speed, but I have the Cobra in there, so it's good against the drones. And I have 3 subs just like that with a very good damage output, decent resistance, and speed is like 25 surface, 30 underwater. Good cloak. And if you notice the cloak time and speed, it's funny because when you compare against the Hellwraith, the speed is just half as much, but the cloak time is twice as much. So all in all is the same, except you have to go farther away with the tiger shark because of the 15 seconds of surface time versus 5 seconds on the Hellwraith. But I think they're going to do well. They're doing well today against the 125s in the global hunt. So again, I think the point I'm trying to drive here is don't waste too much time refitting very old subs if you feel like you can get a better one. Okay, the new sub, the Hellwraith. Assuming you have all the specials, right? I was toying with these 2 buildings. One thing about the Hellwraith, it has overload, and the overload happens every 1200 damage it takes. So you might want to go heavier on armor and remove a few torpedoes, maybe, if you want to rely on the overload more often. I'm going relatively light on armor, and you look at the left hand side, there's 19,000. I don't think I can call that light, but it repairs in 3 hours and 9 minutes for me. But look at the damage. 50,000 damage, and I don't even have torpedoes on all slots. So honestly, one ship can probably kill a whole bunch of Reavers just by itself. Okay, and because of that, this build on the left won't allow you to have 5 subs. You look at the weight, 18 tons. You can't fit 5. Okay, you can fit at most 4 ships like this. If you need 5, remove a torpedo, whichever one you prefer. But I like this one because it gives you 93% explosive defense, right? And then you still get plus 50% when you get an overload, bringing you to 96.5% there. I used 1d5 CT, 1d5 X on this build, and it gives you 140 assault deflection. That makes a huge difference against the concussive cannons if you get spotted. Combat speed 56, turn 74. It's real fast to compensate for the short dive time you get with the Mimico system. You lose a little bit over a second and a half. 102 cloak efficiency minus 10 from the sealed fire charge, so it's actually 92. Okay, should be more than enough. Low evade, like the Tiger Shark, we got it to 41%. This one is only 15. So I can see some people trying different things and boosting evades and whatnot. I still think this is the best one. And you see the balance, always the balance between Charons and Fire Twist, because the Charons will be the best against moving Reavers. So if you ever wake them up and they start chasing you, the Fire Twister might miss a lot. The Charons will always hit the target at 75% accuracy anyways. So, this brings you to a balance. The build on the right, the key differences here are damage, it's a little bit low. Less armor, so repairs faster, 2 hours 35 minutes in normal time for me. Which is going to be what, an hour and 18 minutes at raid time. 30% splash, although the splash on the torpedo is just 6, so don't get too excited there. It's like 8 splash in total. 93% explosive defense, same thing. We lose a little bit on concussive defense, 80%, but plus 50% here, so it still goes up to 90, which is very decent. And then you apply the deflection. Now this one's faster, right? This one's 63 combat speed, 79 turn, and you lose 5 points on cloak efficiency, but still pretty decent. Well, after looking at the first 2 builds, this is my favorite build, and I put it on the left. The build on the right is exactly the same. The only difference is it uses speed system 5 in case you don't have hydraulic resistor. You see, all you lose is 3% on concussive defense. So again, is it worth using a limited special on this ship for 3% gain? Maybe not, but there you go. Just so you know, if you don't have it, you're not losing much, right? Reason I like this build, I can fit an extra torpedo. So again, the firepower is up to 55,000 per round. Okay, it has 93% resistance surfaced, a little bit close to 96 underwater, 83% concussive defense, which goes past 90 underwater, 140 deflection, and a decent speed. It's not the fastest, but I like this one for the balance it strikes. And it has 102% cloak, minus 10, 92% cloak. I'm using strike warheads, seal fire charge, mimical system, and hydraulic resistor. So that's it. That's going to be my build, and it fits 5 of them if I ever want to have 5 on the same fleet. Okay. Now, after you see all of this, if you're not sure which build you want right now and you have subs, I don't know, like Tiger Sharks or whatever for this month, for September, here's what you could do. You could just build it like this. Like if you look at all the builds I've discussed for Hellwraiths, they all have at least 4 Fire Twisters, at least 5 Charons, and those 2 specials, AA3 and Sealed Fire Charge. So that's a 10-day build. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm building 4 like this, and maybe I'll have 2 each way in 2 different fleets. Maybe I'll have 4 of them identically built and add the Phantom later. We'll see. I mean, I want to see more about the raid before I make my final decision, but for now, I presented you guys what I think it's going to be the ideal build for my driving style. They don't change a lot. I think it depends on the specials you have. Any questions you have, just post on the page or comments under the video, and we'll see what we can do to address them. But guess we'll learn together. Happy raiding, everyone, and take care.